The hospital room in Harare was sterile and cold, the air heavy with the hum of machines. Billionaire Thomas Murewa lay still on the bed, his frail body tethered by tubes, an oxygen mask fogging with each shallow breath. Doctors murmured outside, their faces etched with resignation. Death lingered close. Then, a soft sound broke the stillness, not a nurse's footsteps or a doctor's command, but a boy's voice, pure and gentle, rising like a breeze through the dry savanna. 10-year-old Panashe, barefoot, clad in a tattered blue shirt and shorts patched with dirt, stood by the billionaire's bed. His close-cropped hair glistened with sweat, his thin frame betraying days without proper food. Yet his voice carried a warmth that seemed to defy the room's chill. Eyes closed, he sang a simple Shona lullaby, each note trembling with a quiet power, as if drawn from the earth itself. Thomas's finger twitched. A nurse gasped, her clipboard clattering softly. The doctor, who had all but given up, stepped closer, eyes wide. Thomas coughed, his chest rising faintly. Then his eyes fluttered open, locking onto the boy. The man who had not stirred in weeks was awake. 3 days earlier, Panashe darted through the crowded market of Chitungwiza, a dusty suburb south of Harare. His small feet dodged potholes and scattered stones as he balanced a basket of maize cobs on his head. The sun scorched his skin, but he moved with purpose, weaving through vendors and bartering for scraps of sodza to survive another day. 2 years ago, tragedy had reshaped his world. A bus accident claimed his parents, leaving Panashe the sole survivor, unscathed amidst twisted metal. The village whispered of curses. His uncle, Tendai, declared him bad luck at the funeral, spitting the words, "No child walks away from that without dark spirits." Shunned, Panashe was cast out, left to fend for himself. School became a memory. He lived on the streets, carrying loads for market women to earn a few coins. But Panashe had his voice. At night, under a crumbling bridge with other homeless children, he sang to quiet his hunger and grief. Passers-by sometimes stopped, moved to tears. "Your voice carries the ancestors," an old woman once told him. He clung to those words. In a dream, Panashe sang to a dying man, his voice pulling him back from the edge. The man touched his shoulder and said, "Your gift is greater than you know." That dream led him to St. Mary's Hospital that morning, hoping to beg for coins at the gate. Overhearing a nurse speak of a man who had given up after losing his family, Panashe stepped forward. "I can help him," he said softly. The nurse frowned, but a doctor, intrigued by the boy's earnest eyes, allowed him to try. "What's the harm?" she said. Led through the hospital's polished corridors, Panashe ignored the stares at his ragged clothes. In the private ward, Thomas Murewa lay unresponsive, a shadow of the mining magnate who once commanded Zimbabwe's economy. 2 years ago, a plane crash stole his wife and son, leaving him hollow. He had refused food, visitors, life itself. Panashe touched the bed's cold rail, closed his eyes, and sang. The lullaby began low, like the murmur of a river, then swelled with hope. The room's heaviness lifted. The doctor froze, a skeptical nurse edged closer. Thomas's fingers moved, then his head turned. With a gasp, he coughed, eyes opening to find the boy. Tears welled as Panashe's voice wove light into the darkness. By morning, whispers of a miracle spread. The hospital buzzed, a street boy woke the billionaire with a song. Panashe was given a bed, clean clothes, and meals, luxuries he hadn't known in years. He asked only to sing for Thomas again. Each visit, his voice seemed to anchor the man, stirring memories of joy long buried. On the third day, Thomas spoke, voice raspy. "Your song, it reached me." Panashe smiled. "You needed to hear it, sir." Thomas's eyes softened. "You gave me a reason to live." News of the miracle boy reached Chitungwiza's markets. But not all were pleased. Panashe's uncle, Tendai, watched the reports with a scowl. "A street rat in Murewa's will," he muttered. He had waited years for Thomas, his cousin, to die, expecting to inherit his wealth. Now a boy threatened his plans. At the hospital, Thomas met with his lawyer and the doctor. "Panashe has no one," the doctor said. "He lives under a bridge." Thomas nodded. "He saved me. I'll save him." Plans for adoption began, but a knock interrupted. A woman in a bright headscarf stormed in, claiming to be Panashe's aunt, Rambadzai. "I'm his family," she insisted, though Panashe, hidden behind a curtain, trembled at her voice, the same voice that had called him cursed and abandoned him. Thomas confronted her. "Where were you when he starved?" Rambadzai stammered, but Panashe stepped forward. "You said I brought death. You left me." Her lies crumbled, and security escorted her out. Thomas adopted Panashe, announcing it to a stunned nation, "This boy is my son." They moved to a sprawling villa in Borrowdale, where Panashe traded the bridge for a room with glowing star decals. He enrolled in school, excelling in science, dreaming of becoming an engineer to build bridges stronger than the one he'd slept under. His songs became a digital platform, Heal with Harmony, offering solace to those battling despair. But Tendai's envy festered. One evening, a plate of sodza brought to Panashe smelled off. The chef, alarmed, tested it, traces of poison. Security cameras were disabled, the maid vanished. Panashe grew quiet, his song silenced. Strange incidents followed, his school tablet was hacked, his mother's old necklace torn apart. Thomas noticed the change. "Who's doing this?" he asked. Panashe whispered, "Someone wants me gone." Thomas's jaw tightened. "I know who." During a corporate meeting, Thomas collapsed, rushed back to the hospital. Rumors swirled, Murewa in ICU again. Tendai seized his chance, presenting a forged will naming him trustee of Thomas's fortune until Panashe's 21st birthday. The staff protested, but the document seemed legitimate. Tendai moved into the villa, sneering, "This is mine now." Panashe, driven by instinct, overheard Tendai on a late-night call, "When he dies, everything is mine. The boy goes back to the streets." Heart-pounding, Panashe recorded the conversation. The next morning, he stood in the villa's grand hall, a small recorder in hand, flanked by Thomas's lawyer and a police officer. "Uncle Tendai," he said, voice steady, "you're finished." He played the recording. Tendai's voice confessing his scheme. The lawyer gasped, the officer stepped forward. "You're under arrest for conspiracy, attempted poisoning, and forgery." Tendai's protests echoed as he was led away in handcuffs. That evening, Panashe returned to Thomas's hospital room. Machines beeped, the doctor giving him 48 hours. Panashe took his hand and sang, his voice clear and fierce, like a river breaking through stone. "You gave me a home when I was lost. Don't go where I can't follow." Thomas's fingers stirred, his eyes opened. "Panashe," he whispered. "You came back," Panashe said, tears falling. Weeks later, headlines blazed, Murewa wakes from coma, boy's song saves him again. Tendai faced decades in prison. Panashe, now 17, became Zimbabwe's youngest engineer, designing bridges that connected communities. His Heal with Harmony platform grew, offering music therapy nationwide. In Borrowdale, Pan personally invited Panashe to live in the villa forever. "You're my son," he said. Panashe married a kind-hearted teacher, Nyasha, and their daughters, Tadiwa and Ruto, filled the house with laughter. The villa, once shadowed by greed, now glowed with joy. Panashe's voice, once a whisper under a bridge, had built a legacy of hope.